What is good, Bridging the Gap crew? It's your guy, Devin here, and you know who it be?
Coach.
Always be the Coach B.
What
He's,
the
he's
fuck was what kind of is that my theme song and shit
always
now?
be the Coach B. You know, it be like it is because it ain't, what it not.
That's gonna be the jingle and shit. What's going
We'll
on,
have
everybody?
we'll have someone write that. We'll have someone write a jingle. Wouldn't that be sweet if we had like a
Yeah,
that?
hope.
Honestly, I'm thinking about that. We need someone to write us a theme song or a jingle. So like when the show transitions in, it's like bridging the. I kind of
It'd
want
be
like.
like bridging the gap, some shit like
I kind of want it to be. I want it to be like little kids singing or something. Like it's like a preschool thing or something. Like
that.
I'm talking about like the like like kid shows they sing it. Like
You're right, yeah.
yeah,
Like
brush your like I could just picture them singing like bridging the gap, and then like have it come on, and then it's like explicit and like R rated, and it's like what do we walk into?
all right, yeah, that sounds like a freaking plan. I'd be with that.
Yeah,
It's definitely kids cussing is always funny.
yeah.
It's always funny and shit, man.
Yeah, as long as their parents allow it, you don't want to get those parents too riled up, especially those people are getting offended by words, especially Christmas, the war on Christmas, Coach.
The War on Christmas. Well, this is our Christmas episode. So Merry Christmas, everybody out there. This will,
Merry Christmas, ho ho ho! I wish I had a Santa hat or something, but I don't. I feel
yeah,
bad.
I have no festive stuff around here. I have a candy cane somewhere, but that's
what,
about
what are you gonna
that's
do?
about it.
You're just gonna hold up the candy cane and be like,
It'd be
"Yep,
like Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas."
And
Oh,
speaking of, I think I seen this. There was like a debate on the best movies, um, Christmas movies. Do you have any kind of like favorite ones?
oh, okay. So my favorite Christmas movies has to be I have five. I got like
Okay.
you got Gremlins. People, Gremlins is just it's a good movie. I like monster movies and it's a Christmas movie at the same time. So Gremlins, um, Elf's a good one. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. We watch that every year at my dad's house. Every single year, it's always on. Even if
That's
we're
a
not
great
watching
movie.
it, we're
That's a
watching it
great. I grew up on the Lampoons.
on the Lampoons. We grew up on the
Chevy
Lampoons.
Chase and all their fucking crazy trips and shit.
Oh
Yeah.
boy. I barely watched all the other ones. I just know the Christmas Vacation one very well because that's the movie we watch every year, like a tradition. Which, like I said, he just puts it on and leave it on replay, and that brings up another thing that's always on replay on Christmas is A Christmas Story. It's a classic. It's a classic.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched it. Like I know the main parts because that's what people put on it. Like when he like runs through the street, like I love
Yeah.
you guys. But I don't. Or is that Miracle on 34th? I'm
I
not
think I
sure.
think you're thinking of Miracle on 34th Street. A Christmas
Oh,
Story
okay.
is
Oh, Christmas Story
a
with Ralph and
Christmas
shoot
Story.
your eye out.
Yeah, yeah, you shoot your eye out, kid. That one. That yeah, you were thinking of a totally different one.
I was
But yeah,
thinking of it.
that movie, that one's good too. But I've only watched it. This is crazy. I've only watched that movie one time.
What, the Christmas Story?
No, the
Oh,
Miracle on
Miracle.
34th Street.
Hmm.
I've only watched it one time, and it was in elementary school. Like it was probably like right before I went to middle school, and we watched it. And
Okay.
it has some very cool themes to it, but we didn't really get to, I didn't really understand them. You know.
Dive into it and shit. Yeah, it's black and white classic. You know.
Yeah. Well,
So
they
that
made it. I think they
that's.
made that one in color too.
Oh, did they?
I think they made it remastered in color, but I don't know. I forget. I want to say they did.
I'm pretty sure they did. If I mean the way technology is now, like I think they're doing that to all the classics.
Hmm.
You know, it's just another way to see it. I'd probably get more people to like you do that. You're definitely gonna be able to rebrand it and send it back out there. You know?
Yeah, and it's crazy that I was just thinking about is those the claymation. Not is it claymation? I don't know what the hell they use, but like the doll. I'm talking about the ones that are on ABC Family all the time every year,
Oh yeah,
like the
like
Rudolph movie.
Rudolph. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, my
mine
favorite
was a. Oh, go ahead. My fault.
my favorite one of those was probably either the Rudolph one where it's like the top the time baby New Year. That's what it was, baby New Year, and like there's this
Which
like
one had the monster in it? That's the one I liked.
the the snow monster.
Snow monster.
That
Yeah.
was the first one, I think. The first one
Oh,
with the snow
okay.
monster. The second, but like I said, I think it was the Baby New Year one that was my favorite because like there's just I don't know why there's just this giant uh like vulture trying to hunt down Baby New Year. His name's Igor, and they go through like all these different times, and like Rudolph teams up with like fucking he teams up
They
with
were
like Theodore or not Theodore Roosevelt. Oh God, why can't it Benjamin Franklin? I think. And like a bunch of other just random random
random
people.
characters and shit.
Yeah,
Well, they were bombing on those things earlier. I seen something. I didn't get too much in it, but they were saying like there's some sexual suggestive shit going on in those fucking cartoon
I
things, man.
I would love to go. I haven't watched those in so long, but I would love to go back and just look for that kind of shit.
That kind of shit. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if you Google it when you get a chance, man, just look at it. I didn't get a chance, but I seen it, and I just didn't get a chance to get into the debate about it and shit to see what it was all about.
Oh, I
But that
don't
shit
doubt it
always
though.
cracks me up when they attack Disney and they just point out like they'll just like bring in all kinds of like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and they'll point out things and circle things. That should be
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, and I know what though is that brings the debate of like should they change it or should they get rid of it? I don't think so. I mean, it is what it is. It's actually good because it shows the time and history how people fought and what was acceptable. It shows a lot of cool studies. I know that's what film studies is all about. So, and that actually brings up a good point. Elf, the movie Elf
Hmm.
on TBS. I don't know. I'm not 100% true. I'm not 100% true. Holy fuck, if I could speak English. I'm not 100% true. If I'm not 100% true. I don't know if it's 100% true. Holy hell, can I say it?
God damn.
I know.
Speech much, man?
Speech. What is speech?
Yeah.
100% true, but in the on TBS, whenever they show the movie Elf now, they're not showing the shower scene where Will Ferrell's character, the elf, goes into the shower and that girl singing like the
Oh well, they're attacking the baby. It's cold
that's
outside.
right. Yeah, and they were
They
singing
said he
it.
was slipping him a Bill Cosby in him and shit. Yo, he was slipping her a Mickey and shit.
No, what they were saying was that because not just because of the song, but because of yeah, just because a man being in a woman's bathroom and he whatever, and they didn't want that to be like like some kind of thing. And I'm like, wow, like really, like it's just like it's to regular everyday people, it's just this funny scene where like this because this elf, he doesn't understand social norms, he doesn't understand it because he's never been in the real world before. So when he goes like the chick's bathroom, he doesn't know like that's like a private place. So that's the joke, that's the premise of the
So
joke.
okay, and they're singing that song. So and they're saying that, but I guarantee you that has a lot to do with it too, because there's a big like people are banning that song, bro. You know that, right? Did you see that?
No.
You didn't see that they're banning that song, "Baby It's Cold Outside," all over, and then you got people that are saying, "I'm not banning, I like it," because if you listen to the lyrics of the song, he's slipping her a Mickey. To
At what point in the lyrics? Like
I,
I haven't heard the song in a
you'd
long
have
time.
you'd have to go through it. I don't know. I mean, I just watched the thing on it. I don't know exactly, but he's basically saying like he slipped her a Mickey and he's waiting for it to
Hold
work.
on, hold on, hold on. I can look it up through the power of technology, but while I'm doing that,
Well, I'll go through my top five. We got the same, a couple of same ones. I got Elf definitely is the classic. I watched that when it first came out. My one of I think my daughter mentioned it. We went and saw it, and then it was added to the collection of DVDs, and it was something we watched every year after. So, tradition wise, Gremlins also that's just a classic Christmas movie. And then I went a little dark with it because it was a horror one that I really liked back in. I think it was back in like '89, somewhere around there, '80s. It's called Silent Night. It's a horror film, but it was based on Santa Claus, doing some crazy shit on Christmas night, and they made multiple ones, but that one was the best. Then I went a little comedic with it with Bad Santa two. I like two better than one.
you like the second one better. I
Yeah,
Bad Santa's a good movie. I haven't watched that one in so long either.
it's fucking hilarious. The kid on there is hilarious, yo.
Yeah.
He's freaking hilarious. You talk about socially unnormal and shit. And then the last one, which got me to this, that's why I wanted to have a little discussion about it, because everybody has their classics, but they were saying whether Die Hard should be a Christmas movie, and
It,
they ran some poll, and they found, and I guess the majority of people say yeah, because that's what I know it as, and
oh,
that.
Well, go ahead, finish. I don't want to cut you off.
And that's what I noticed. That's what I remember as it. But most Christmas movies are dropped what around Thanksgiving anyway. But they're Christmas themed. It's Christmas themed. They're at a Christmas party all through the thing. You're reminded of Christmas. So I count it as a Christmas movie. Great action film. So
Yeah, well, yeah, especially its release and also, yeah, the themes that were in the movie would make it a Christmas movie. I mean, Gremlins. Gremlins is like it's a monster movie that takes place during Christmas,
right.
so it's a Christmas movie, and so and like Krampus, that's like another like it's a scary movie, but it takes around the time of Christmas. So like that's examples of like movies that don't fit a genre because they're not really their genre isn't Christmas movie, but it's a Christmas movie because that's
Right.
the way it took place.
If the themes in it is like it's going around Christmas time, I consider it a Christmas movie. That's how pretty much
Yeah,
how I look at it. You know what I mean? Whether it's scary, funny, or whatever, you know. But
and
those were
that
mine. It was just interesting. I was reading some of the comments about people, and then I went through it and looked, and I was like, well, what is my favorite movies? You know what I mean? So I went back and looked through that, and we got two of the same ones.
yeah,
That's you know,
yeah. Well, I mean, because so, like some of the other ones are just like forgettable. Most Christmas movies are forgettable Christmas movies. Like no one's like, oh yeah, I want to go back and see the night after or the day, but what is it, the night before the day before or whatever. It's like a movie with like Seth Rogen and them. It came out like two
oh, it
years ago.
comes on tonight.
Oh, does
I
it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just seen it on FX. It comes on tonight. I just seen the commercial for it earlier.
yeah, but like no one's like clamoring like, oh my god, that movie's a Christmas masterpiece. I want to go see it again. You know, there's usually like a select few. There's only like 20 or 30 like movies that people will be like, yeah, like you know, like I enjoy that one.
Yeah, they try to get one every because you know if you
Yeah,
catch one, it's going to be around for tradition. Like I know Elf and Gremlins are Bad Santa 2, probably Die Hard. All these ones that we're mentioning are probably getting a lot of good replay value
yeah,
for the
that's what I was thinking. Is that's what makes the money for Christmas movies is that it's the replay. It's not even the first showing because it could bomb in theaters. It could bomb. You know, not enough people go see it. But whenever it comes out and like the people that see it on TV and like, oh, this is a good movie, and they request it and the high viewership, and that's the one that gets shown every year. You know, so
yeah,
that's interesting.
get those residuals up.
Mm-hmm.
People are getting checks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Once you get that replay value, if they play it like those classic ones, like they're all getting. Gremlins has been on all week. Gremlins has been on all week, like three times a day. You know what I mean?
yeah. I
So
haven't, and the sad thing is I haven't been watching TV at all, like not even remotely a little bit.
yeah, I just run through the thing real quick. I'm mostly on, you know me, I'm mostly on the sports channels or watching some YouTube, getting gathered, doing some research. I don't get to too much, but around this time when I'm chilling, laid back, I'll find a movie to watch. It's one of those classics. I like watching the classics one, the nostalgia ones.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
especially you
Because
haven't seen them in a long time. It makes them a lot better.
right,
Hey,
like I just
not to
oh
cut you
go ahead.
off, but I was gonna go ahead and review why the lyrics of "Baby It's Cold Outside," and I'm gonna
Go
drop the
ahead.
lyrics that are the controversial ones, and I have to kind of agree that it seems a little date rapey. Okay, so
He's
the
Bill Cosby in her.
okay, so he says. The lyrics, a call response duet has a female voice trying to tear herself away from her date in a myriad of ways. I've got to go away. Hey, what's in this drink? And and finally, the answer is no. But her declarations of no are far from final, with the male voice wheedling, mind if I move in closer? Gosh, your lips are delicious. How can you do this thing to me? And
It's a rape song, bro.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
And
sorry. It is.
there were people that would say, I do realize when the song was written in 1944, it was different time, but now
It
we're
was
reading it,
acceptable.
it was very manipulative and wrong. Yeah, but I can understand if like okay maybe you're handsy back then. Okay, handsy. But like if you're putting like hey what's in my drink? No, I don't think that was acceptable back in the 1940s. I'm sorry, I just don't think
That was
so.
those are the times when everybody was like more proper, right? They're like, I'm a lady, like actually putting fucking their coat over a puddle and shit like that.
That
I
was
mean,
that was no. Well, it might have been. I don't know. That's what I see from the films. But I mean, 1940s. I'm thinking it's right before World War II.
Hmm.
And with that, women didn't even have, women didn't have suffrage and equal rights and stuff like that up until that point in terms of voting and everything else. And they weren't in the workplace until after World War II, because when World War II occurred, a lot of women had to go into the workforce, because Rosie the Riveter and all that jazz. So I don't know how exactly it was handled. I mean, I know that there's probably misogynistic, tendencies from back
Oh
then.
yeah.
I would
Oh,
definitely say there were.
of course. I mean, but to me, like when I think of that time,
Hmm.
I'm thinking of like women always like dressed, long dresses, and they weren't objectified like they were today. You'd have to be covered up, but I guarantee you behind closed doors, bitch, get in the kitchen. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh
That
no,
type shit.
I totally agree. I bet you any money that's how it was. I mean, it's just based on what I know about the time frame of like women's rights and everything, and how, and they, whenever women went to the workplace, they had to make those educational films like A Woman Is Not a Toy. They had to literally make those videos because men were just harassing them in the workplace, grabbing their ass, like playing with their titties and whatever.
There should have been a Me Too movement back then and shit, because shit was crazy. I mean, they had that all coming up in the '80s too. That was huge in the '80s, like
Oh
9 to 5, that movie with Dolly Parton. That was all based on chauvinistic shit in the workplace, because the boss was just the grabbing her ass and shit like that, smacking women on her, shit like that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That you just can't do and shit, man. You
with
know what I mean?
no consideration, none. Didn't even try to treat them like property almost. No respect.
Yeah, I just found that interesting because I forgot about that until you said that about when they were abandoning the shower scene and they were singing that song. So I'm wondering, is that part of it too, or is it just
I
part of
don't,
that? But
but here's the thing: is in the scene where they're singing, I don't think
Mhm.
they sing that verse.
Oh, okay,
So that's
they're
why,
just singing.
yeah, they
Yeah,
were singing the beginning part.
it's a great tune though. If you
Yeah,
don't know what it's what,
yeah. Well, you know what it could be, like they do with
what
like the national anthem and other like songs like that.
yeah.
Remake it, rewrite the lyrics to make it, because it's a good tune. You're right, it's a great tune. They could just go back and rewrite the lyrics and make it a more positive song.
I guarantee you somebody's gonna do that. Whether it's like, I mean, not officially, but like maybe some singer or something's gonna put a version out on their Instagram or some shit, because you know how that goes. You know,
Yeah, and
I guarantee it'll happen.
yeah, and that'd be good to make some money. So hey, if you're a singer out there and a
It's just a
songwriter,
Yeah, it's just a matter. That's what I would do. If whoever owned the rights to that, I would have a contest.
yeah,
You
and
know what I
grab some
mean?
people and
Yeah, and see what they can do with it, and then say, hey, we're gonna use this version, for now. Obviously, you can't really retire the song. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
mean, people can stop playing it, but you're gonna have pushback from everybody else. Like, it's just a great tune, and it was that time, which I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know if there was any time that you could be a fucking
yeah,
douchebag.
you know what I mean.
You know what I mean?
But at the
But
same time too, I mean, like we listen. I mean, me and you listen to rap music, and like some of the things that they say in rap music is like they're killing motherfuckers on the street and shooting them in the face and whatever. I mean,
right.
like that stuff's not socially acceptable either. So where do you really draw the line in terms of music?
Well, Rick
And
Ross has a song about putting something in somebody's drink. I forget what it's called. I think Green Jacket or some shit. I forget what it's called, but he has a song that says put something in her drink.
that's so yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like. It's more of like a thing that we should look for reoccurring in music rather than just looking at the past songs and saying, "Oh, look, this is here." You know.
I just think they look at it like, oh, it's played around the holidays. You got, you know, even like most songs, like, that are made today that we're discussing are not being played, around kids, even though kids can get to them. But there's nothing you can do about that with the freedom of speech. But I think they're saying it more or less like it's played mostly around the holidays and the kids are around. I think that's
Yeah.
what the biggest argument of it is about. Like, you're implementing this into our Christmas, not great Christmas. You know what I mean? And speaking of segueing into that, like, what do you believe about? Like, how what do you think about Christmas? Do you like celebrate it? Do you
Well,
shut it? What do you do?
well, it's interesting because you know my perspective of my religious beliefs. So celebrating Christmas is like it's not, but for most Americans, it is this way, though. I mean, Christmas isn't about Jesus, which is what it, which by the way, we could go into the history of Christmas. It's basically a pagan celebration,
Hmm.
but that's not really what I want to go. But my personal belief on it is just it's just a time to be around family and enjoy each other's company, and
Yeah, I don't look into none of that too much. I mean, you just know that it's burned into your brain since you're a kid. You celebrate, eat food, get around family, and gifts exchange.
yeah, and that is too. I think it's that time where like you really show your love and appreciation to your family. Even though I I like to I think that love and appreciation is better when you give it out randomly throughout the year rather than just one
Mhm.
day where they expect it. You know?
Yeah, well, that's why they got. I mean, we know this is all corporate thing to
Oh,
make
of
money.
course.
That's why it's celebrated because they got all those holidays. I mean, there's think about it. There's one after another, like with only a month or two, and in the fourth quarter, you got two of the biggest ones, which they start to shopping in the end of the fourth quarter,
Yeah.
and that just booms business. Like so, companies can close out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
With
well, those holidays are definitely, I would say, definitely the holidays of Thanksgiving and Christmas, especially Christmas.
Easter,
Easter is
Valentine's Day is a
Valentine's Day.
huge one.
They're all just capitalistic holidays born from the capitalistic society we live in here in America. Of businesses got together and say, let's create holidays so then we can help these businesses um,
That's definitely what it is.
or these
You know what I mean?
corporations. Yeah,
It's definitely what it is. Definitely one of those things. But yeah, I don't get too. I mean, I like to putting up a tree. Being around a family. Just picking a day. I mean, I get it. You could pick a day to say, hey, you know what I mean? Like we're gonna be around. Just to show some appreciation to somebody and give them a gift or something like that. I think people go overboard with it. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Get crazy, because like growing up in our shit, we had what was our budget? Like when last time I remember, I think I was like 12, 13. I think we had like a $250 budget, and then we would just write a list out. You know what I mean? And my mom would go get that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's how it was for us until, like I said, times started getting tough. Probably after my Christmas of being like 14, 13 years old. It's kind of where
Hmm.
Christmas for like terms of gifts and all that kind of started going downhill. And, which is fine anyway because at that point, like it doesn't, like Christmas is like less about getting things and more about just, being with the family and whatnot,
Yeah, the older you get, it's for the youngins. It's for the
Yeah,
youngins.
and although there's always that joke, which I think is so true, is like as you're getting older, like when you're a kid, you want toys and stuff. Like when they give you money, you're like, and when they give you like clothes, you're like, But then as you like get older, you head into your teens and like your your early 20s, you're like, man, like I hope someone buys me fucking socks. Please, someone
Yeah,
bring me
yeah,
socks.
yeah, socks and boxes. The ones where you open and you'd be like, oh, it's just socks and fucking boxers or some shit.
Yeah.
Where's the good shit? You throw that shit to the side or a sweater or some shit like that. But now you're like, damn, I need that shit. That shit's expensive. Have you ever went in to buy some socks, bro?
What do you mean, like to went in to buy some socks? Like went and
Just a,
bought?
a, a package of like
Oh, yeah,
fucking
yeah, yeah.
Dollar General
Yeah,
socks or some
yeah.
shit.
I always buy in bulk, and I'll tell you what. Like once those socks, like I'll wear them, and once they get like shitty, I throw them out and just go buy a whole new pack. Like I don't play around and like keep the sock for like 20 years. Like nah, like you just wear it until like they're because after you wash them and stuff so many times, they just start turning to shit. So I just chuck them and buy a whole new pack.
Yeah, they're one of those things. Just one you look at the price like, Jesus, this is something I'm putting on my foot. It's not a fucking Jordan. You know what
It's
I
not a
mean?
Jordan. It's not a
don't
Jordan.
don't
Well,
go get some socks with Jordans on them and shit. The motherfuckers like 89.99 or some shit. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
crazy. Just out of control how they can just brand any fucking thing. Just grab some socks, that probably cost 2 cents to make. And here, throw the Jumpman on it.
Oh yeah.
89.99.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. Is like you go to like you buy like the Fruit of the Loom black socks, or whatever. You know, you buy a whole bag of those. What, $15 for just all black socks? For a bag of
Oh
like all
yeah,
black ones, it's $15. And there's
yeah,
nothing, no special brand, nothing. You know. But yeah,
right.
you're right. Like just a pair of Jordan socks, costs like fucking 15, 20, $25. Just a
Yeah,
pair.
arm a fucking leg, man, for some socks.
Yeah.
You know, you're just playing for the logo. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much just give a little Christmas spirit to the people out there. I know it's our it's this is our episode. It's dropping, so it's on that today. So we'll just Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a
Yeah.
good one and all that good shit. You know what I mean?
Merry Christmas. It's the best
Please.
time of the year.
Oh my God. Did you okay, one more Christmas. Were
Okay.
you the fucking Christmas caroler, bro? Were you going around the neighborhood knocking on doors and singing
No, but
outside?
I've been in Christmas. I've been in chorus, and I've Christmas caroled. In high school, we had a thing like where it was a field trip where we went to like old people's homes, like the old like a retirement home, and then we had to go sing Christmas carols, and it was
Hmm.
awful because I just like I don't sing. I'm not a singer, and
But in a group, you can hide that. You don't
yeah,
even have to be singing. You could
right.
just be lip singing.
Yeah, which like it was such a weird experience. I mean, it's a great experience, but a weird one because like you're in an old people's home. There's just like just think about it. There's like old people like splintered around everywhere, and like they're all just like half of them like aren't even cognizant of what you're doing. You know, like who are these kids or whatever? You start singing a Christmas carol, and for some of them it's nice whenever they all light up. And then there's like the one old guy who gets pissed off that you're there. He's like, "Oh, like I hate
Fucking
you."
Scrooge.
Yeah, Scrooge. Should have called him called him out on it at the home. Hey, Scrooge. Hey, we're singing Christmas carols here, buddy. So why don't you
Yeah.
lighten up? And then like we get in a fight with the old man, and then we get kicked out. That'd be great.
You're fucking crazy. Yeah, so that's pretty much, touch up on that bullshit. But there was some couple interesting things. I'll jump into one of them right now that I've seen this week that I don't know what to think about it. I kind of feel for the people, but it's something probably you've heard of because you're in the gaming world, is how they're like the people that are known for these dances are suing like Fortnite because they took their dance move that they're branded off of. And I'm not sure how to feel about that. I'm not sure if they're right. Like you got a couple people like Carlton, the
The Carlton?
Carlton.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a lawsuit out. Snoop Dogg is. I don't think he has a lawsuit, but they took his dance from Drop It Like It's Hot.
Mm.
They got that on there. They picked that out, and then they got the Backpack Kid. He did a lawsuit today
Did he?
about
Okay.
that.
Now here's a good question to start with. So Call of Duty, you know that the Hotline Bling
Hmm.
dance. Well, they had one of the things you could get was a dance where you did the Hotline Bling thing, where like he does the to his knee or whatever, or what like in
Hmm.
that music video. And it was one of the emotes you could have at the end of a game. Whenever you were like first, second, third, you could do that dance. And my question is, and I don't know the answer to it right off the top of my head, but did they pay Drake to get that dance? And also, did those kids and those people did they trademark the dance? I mean, I'm curious like how you could even file a lawsuit
I
because.
don't think if you can prove that you were like Carlton could for sure prove it
Mhm.
because anybody does that dance, they're saying Carlton.
Yeah, right.
There's no question whether the majority of America is going to know that, no matter black, white, whatever, you're going to be like, that's Carlton.
That's
But
Carlton.
if you see some of these other dance, now the Backpack Kid, he probably has a good one too because he's advised by a lot of good people. Like I think he signed to Gary V. And some Gary V's like his promotional thing, and he brought him in and said, "Hey, we're going to build a career off of you just doing that." So I know he got some good advice from a smart person for him to
Okay.
to do that. So there's no you can't trademark a dance, but if you can say this is what I'm known for. Like people will ask Carl to like probably pay him $25,000 for an appearance, and he has to do that dance. You
Okay,
know what I'm
I
saying?
see what you're saying. So like they could have that dance in Fortnite and then if they're if and because it originated from them, they created the dance or whatever. And then Fortnite just puts it in there, then that's like a big claim because they're basically making money because they sell those dances for V-Bucks, which is currency that's in the game that you
Right.
get like use real money to get. So they basically sell it to people, and they're making
Wait,
money
wait, wait,
off
wait,
of a
wait,
dance move.
wait. Hold on, that's a question. Wait a minute. So you're saying on these games that you can play for money on the game, and the game exchanges like the money?
No. You
Oh,
pay money, like you use your credit card or your debit card or whatever, and you you pay them, and then what they give you is an in-game currency called V-Bucks. And then the V-Bucks, then you can use those to buy emotes and dances and outfits. And
that is fucking ridiculous.
you didn't know
So
about
is the
microtransactions in games? That's like been, well, I mean, yeah, look who I'm
I
talking
don't I don't
to.
I'm not a
Yeah,
game. I'd rather play the let's go fucking strap up and have paint go to paint gun place or some shit.
right.
You know me, I don't really play games. So they're selling this game
Mm-hmm.
for
Well,
what?
no,
How
no.
much outrage for
Fortnite is a free
it's
to play
free?
game,
Oh,
but
okay, so it's free,
mm-hmm,
but they're charging you to get things inside the game. So that's smart because there's no limit
mm-hmm.
to what they can make off of it, right?
Yeah. And some people, some of the outfits cost $20 at release. Like if they come out with a new outfit,
Wow.
$20 for a digital skin, for a skin that you wear, right? And I mean, when I played Fortnite, because I bought the Founders Edition, so I earned V-Bucks. It's very complicated. I won't go into all the details, but I bought the Founders Edition whenever it first came out because I started playing the other game mode that they have that no one probably knows, like remembers, which is Save the World, which was what the game was supposed to be about. But then the Battle Royale mode that was in it took off so quickly that they just forgot about Save the World and they focused all their efforts on the Battle Royale mode. And and there was other games that were that same genre, like PUBG, that wanted to sue them because they're like, you took our idea. Which I gotta yell at PUBG because they're dumb, because they were supposed to get their game to consoles, because they were from PC originally so long ago. You look lost. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm just listening.
Everybody in the, and like there's people in the audience right now are listening to this. They're like, yeah, I get what you're saying, Devin. You're just like, what the fuck's a PUBG?
Yeah, I have no idea what it means or none of that because I'm not into that. That's why I brought it up because I was like, I wonder what it is. I don't know what they can do, honestly.
Yeah.
But I think if they can prove that you're stealing, that's how they're making it. If they're getting paid like the backpack kid is definitely getting paid to go do his dance. You know what I'm saying? So he can prove it. Carlton can prove it. I don't know what Snoop's gonna do, but they got the Millie Rock too, or or somebody like the Shiggy dance, the Kiki dance, and shit that Drake paid him like, I think he paid him like $800,000, I want to say, just for him to come on tour and do that dance whenever he did the song and shit like that. So, and going to your question, like you said about the Hotline Bling, are they playing the music when they do it, or is he just doing the dance?
No, it's just the dance. It's usually some kind of generic weird thing. Like it's some kind of like they just make like a generic song that goes with it, and then they have the dance.
I don't know, man. Knowing like somebody like Drake, he's represented well, and he definitely wants every dime that he's going to be able to get. So I'm sure he probably had a quiet conversation with these motherfuckers about it if it's on there, because that he can prove that's his brand, and because it's not a dance. Nobody really everybody when they first seen it was like, what the fuck is Drake doing right now? But after you see it 1,000 times, now you're out in the club doing that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. Because that's just whenever you hear the song, you're like, oh, this is the move to that song. Kind of like Cha Cha Slide or any of those kind of songs. When you listen to it, like, this is the dance of that song.
I think they should, like, if they do that, what they should do is, like, okay, if they took a fucking song from somebody, right? And most people that these dances are to are their songs, like the Millie Rock, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
To Millie, so they have that song. So what they should do is, like, just to be fucking fair and say, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna pay you for your song. We're gonna give you the residuals on your song, and just throw the dance in there, and we're gonna play your song on the thing.
Yeah, right.
That's
that'd be cool too.
That's all they should fucking do and end it. Like with somebody like Carlton, he could pretty much prove it in the Backpack Kid because they can prove that they're being getting paid to go.
Now here's the thing. Those dances, like the Carlton dance that was in that game, has been out since the game came out. And it was a default one. Now the Backpack Kid one, that's one that you buy, I'm pretty sure.
And, they're gonna get that.
And that's what I'm saying is, like, they've been selling these dances, and because I think that's the difference between like doing a dance like in public, like say like you were on tour and you wanted to do the Kiki Do You Love Me song, like maybe no one owns the dance, right? And you know who came up with it, and you could
Yeah.
do a dance, you could perform it. But whenever you're creating that dance in a virtual reality and selling the ability to do that dance for money, like in a video
Yeah.
game, that's where you
It
really
should be.
you hit a wall, because then it's like, well, wait a second, you're taking something I created and you're chopping it up and you're condensing it and selling it to people.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
think this is going to be huge on Fort. I think they're going to have to. If I was them, I would just fucking make it a part of the thing. Stop being greedy fucks. You know what I mean? Like share it. Like you're stealing creative content that people came up with. Um, that if you could, why be a greedy fuck and just say to them, okay, I didn't know this was, but I think it's a good idea. Like I'm gonna help you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Whatever, however you have to do it, paperwork wise or any whatever the fuck you got to do, and just do it. Stop being greedy fucks, because you know that game's making what?
Oh, it's making stupid amount of money. Stupid. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
and a lot of people would even argue that the game is copyrighted everything that it's about, from PUBG, because it copied its battle royale mode, and what it did is it beat PUBG to console, and that's why it got so big so fast, because it was free, and there was no other competition for battle royale games on console. None. There was none, maybe except for Xbox, but on PlayStation, it was already there. And it was fun. I mean, I had fun playing it when I played it. The thing is, though, after a while, it got so boring or just repetitive, to the point where I got sick and tired of it. But what it is, it was good with the kids. The kids love it.
right.
And that's what it was. It became the new Call of Duty, because Call of Duty, that's like the game kids buy and they shoot each other and blah blah blah. But the battle royale mode thing was, the new trend, and that's why Call of Duty now has battle royale mode. It's like it's this game mode that like every game now has to have to be anything, which I find it frustrating as a person who likes playing video games. My
Yeah.
PlayStation took a shit, but like those are one of my favorite type of games.
I'm just gonna be curious to see where it goes, man, to see if anybody ends up, because I just feel like I mean, if that's their likeliness, just pay them for their fucking likeliness. I mean, it
Yeah.
takes. You know what I mean? Even people are going to say, "Oh, well, all he did was just dance," but that dance, you know what I mean, is influencing a lot of
Kids
people.
and
Yeah,
kittens.
kids to do good, to have a good time, and stay out of trouble. I mean, that's what good music and dancing does. Is really, is one of those deterrents, and then maybe influence kid to do something positive, and maybe they start dancing in their life and make a living out of it. So I
Yeah.
think they should definitely just pay those people for their likeness.
Yeah.
So that's all I pretty much had on that shit. I was just curious to see what, because you're a gamer, and I just wanted to see what, like, how deep was it into it. Like, and now that you're telling me they're getting actual, like, they're getting multiple hits of payments a day, not just one flat rate for the game.
Oh no
They're
no.
getting multiple hits to be able to do the Carlton, or you said Carlton's a default, but the backpack
Backpack
jump.
Kid, and who knows? I haven't played in so long though. I haven't played it so long. They might have like phased the Carlton out, and now like it's something you have to get with the battle pass or whatever. Which the battle pass is like, oh, this is something interesting. So every season, because there's seasons in the game, there's a battle pass, and that's like $20, right? And then as you level up in in the tier system during that season, you unlock more and more things like dances and whatever else. But it's like a subscription service every 3 months that you subscribe to in the game to unlock things.
To unlock things. Oh yeah, that's where everything's going. Subscription based things. Like, it's like just like these apps and bullshit like that. You just give shit away, and then you charge inside to get access to
Right, and
the shit.
and
And then it turns, you know what it turns into, Dev? It turns into that thing, like it gets that deep where it's like, okay, you go outside physically, like where people are obsessed with like like shoes, like Jordans. We use Jordans.
mm-hmm.
They got the new Jordans. I got to get the new Jordans. That's what's happening on this game. They know that. They're like, oh, he's got the exclusive fucking everything pack. He's the hierarchy in this bullshit. I have to have it.
Yeah,
You
I
know
have
what
to
I'm
go get
saying?
it. So I need to go to the store right now and spend $20 to buy the new outfit that everybody else
Right.
has got. So it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I just was curious to see where it would go. I'm gonna keep an eye on that and see where it goes.
Yeah. Now, what I was going to talk about was I had other things, but this is something that just happened like at my work the other day, and it really made me think about something. Because we always have these conversations. But they gave us all a piece of paper the one day. We had a little meeting. They pulled us all aside at the factory. And I
Hmm.
need you guys. I need you to understand, for everybody that's listening to this, I work at a factory where I work 55 hours a week, right? Well, they pulled us aside, and they can't get people in the door. They can't get people to come in and work there. So what do? They made an incentive program for you, for every person that you bring in. If they're there for 30 days, for every person that you bring in that you like referral, you get
Hmm.
$50, right?
Hmm.
And then if you stay and if they stay for 6 months, then you get $200.
Hmm.
And they also have a attendance thing that if you don't miss a single day for 3 months, then you get $100. Now, those incentives are cool, whatever. But I was sitting there thinking about it, man. Like, for one, not, and this is what really made me mad during the meeting was they were saying because we're already understaffed, and we're already overworked. And what
Okay.
and we can't even keep people in there because of all the overworking and all the understaffing because when new people come in, they're fucking overwhelmed. Some people aren't used to working 55 hours a week. Well, so our manager looks at us and he says, I want to, and this is the corporation, this is what I mean by fucking greedy corporate people. They're like, yeah, we actually want to up production. We want to up production and make you work harder, and we want to make more stuff, and we're going to slave you to get it. But if you don't want to slave, what you're going to do is you're going to go and find the people. You're going to do our job for us and get people
Hmm.
employed here. You're going to bring them in, and then we're going to give you some incentives. And they're going to say six months of your life is worth $200. 6 months of you and someone else's life is worth $200. You know,
Yeah.
and that's what's fucking nuts to me, and that's what's sad is this corporation, basically treats you like garbage. And there's people that are still there, just taking it and accepting it and not doing nothing about it. Like sure, they're bitching because they've been there for 10, 15 years and they're
Hmm.
working this ridiculous amount of hours. And it's sad too because the wages are so low. I mean, they're and they want to, and say like you want to leave and you want to go to a better job, right? It's
Hmm.
hard because it's 55 hours a week. So when do you find the time? I mean, sure, to apply for another job, but then you have to set up the time to go to the interview for that job. When are you going to
Did
do
they
that?
have do they have all shifts or it's just first shift?
It's well, here's the thing, okay? So most people's
Hmm.
shifts are from either 5 a.m. to like
Hmm.
3 in the afternoon, or like from 7 a.m. till like 5:30 in the afternoon, right? 10 hours because there's a half hour for lunch or
Hmm.
whatever. And it's crazy. That's what I'm saying is like that. Those hours take up the whole entire day. So I'm saying like if you're trying to get out and either find another job, or if you're just trying to have a life outside of that where like you can, um, build your skills. Like if you want to go to school or you want to learn a trade, anything like that, it's impossible. You couldn't do it.
And I bet you that's part of their plan is saying that, like, okay, we're going to limit, we're going to keep them where they don't have no time to try to even think about it bettering themselves to leave this company and make it a dependent
Mm-hmm.
on that company. And that's it. To me it sounds like, well, yeah, like you said, it's just all greed, corporate greed. Is this like one spot or they got multiple
This
spots?
is the
Or
whole factory. This is the whole entire factory, and you know what I mean.
no,
And
what I mean
oh,
is that the only factory of that company, or is there
Oh
spread
no,
out?
no, they're spread out. I don't know where they all
Oh,
are, but
oh,
yeah, and
okay.
I wouldn't say that those probably aren't employing the same methods of other places and other factories. I wouldn't say that they're not. I bet you they
Right,
are. And I'm not saying because there's other places that do that where they do create those kind of incentives for you. Like I
right.
know when I worked for Icor, the same thing happened. But it was a nicer environment, I would say, and you're not overworked. But you're right. I think that's part of the strategy that they keep you there as long as they can and keep fucking you and pushing you and to what I mean, where you can't better yourself, you can't leave because that's the problem right now. They can't have any more people leave. They have to have people come in.
And
And
another thing, like this is the main thing too that I noticed. Like, say you work first shift, right?
right,
How are you supposed to get proper health care for yourself?
Oh yeah.
Take get your teeth done. You know what I mean? These are all 9 to 5 jobs. Have never heard of a well. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a few, but the dentist after 5 o'clock. Where are you
Yeah.
going to get that done? Or a doctor? How are you
Well,
supposed to
you can
physically
you
take?
can file for absentees or excused absences. Where like if you have to go to a doctor's appointment, you can go.
Uh-huh.
But like I was thinking of like other little things, like like any little event for your child, like your children, or taking care of your children, or watching your children, or
Right.
going to the bank, managing your finances, right?
Right.
Like how am
Well,
I
they're going
supposed
to say that's all on. You could do that online right now. There's no
yeah.
excuse. So yeah, I think. I mean, it's a tactic too. But like, are all jobs like that? Can you put in a slip to say I got to go to the dentist?
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
think
you can.
no, I don't think all jobs are like that. No, but the thing is, other jobs wouldn't work you 6 days a week,
Or
and
they'll find a day. Like there was a big
and the
company.
hours, and most of the time, most other jobs, like the hours are fluctuating. Where like one day you're working one day you're working second shift, the next day you're working first, or you're working
Well,
like
that's
a in
just swing
between
shift.
shift. Yeah, or
That's
a
not
swing.
that's not normal job, bro. Those very rarely is you can get a job that swing shift.
I mean, I'm talking like if you work at convenience stores. I mean, any
Oh
store,
yeah, 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 yeah,
any
something
store.
like that. Yes,
But I'm not
something
talking
like
about.
that.
I'm not talking
McDonald's or something.
about. Yeah, but I'm not talking about like factories or like Norfolk Southern, the train jobs. Different. There's all kinds of different jobs out there, and I'm saying like those kind of jobs. The hours are fluctuating, and I guarantee
Yeah,
you they
well,
had to have some
I
kind
had a
of.
job. One of the best jobs I ever had was but this is what they did, and it was very smart because you would have a 2 week pay period. You would work 12. We worked 12-hour shifts, so
Mm-hmm,
we'd have 2 days on, 2 days off, 2 days on,
two
two
days.
days off, 3 days on. You know what I mean? In that work period. So
Yeah.
you're grinding out 12 hours in 2 days, and then you got 2 days off. You know what I'm saying? And every other weekend you were working the weekend, and then you would have 2 weeks. I mean, you would have days. You'd have 4 days in one week, two in the week, and two the Saturday and Sunday, and then the other day you'd have three in the week. You see what I'm saying? So
Oh yeah, and no, that's Kyler, my buddy Kyler, who's he's like the neurotech, that
mhm.
brain guy. We'll just say brain guy, brain doctor. They have crazy schedules like that where like sometimes he'll have a whole week off. He'll work 4 days, then
Mhm.
he'll then he'll work like 3 days next week or something, and then he'll be off like a whole week or off like 4 days or something in a week. So it gives you plenty of time to do that. And I'm saying like now I think that's like the major difference between like these good jobs where they care about your your life outside of the job, and they understand like if you want production, if you want better performance of the job, or you want people that want to better themselves at your job or stay there, then you have to acknowledge their life outside of it. It's a constant balance and
Yeah,
battle.
this place sounds like they don't give a fuck about you. You're gonna work, buddy, because if not, we're going to get some of them caravans from fucking Mexico, and we're gonna put them up in here because they'll work.
Yeah, I don't
So
think that they're I don't
you
think they're
better
grabbing
get.
Mexicans, but I will say what it creates though. What it creates, and this is what I've noticed, is that you're trapped because once you're there. I mean, I have the courage and everything that eventually here soon I'm going to be leaving that place and getting another job and then continuing on with the stuff we have with media. But these people, like the people that have been there 15, 20 years, I mean, they're there, it's comfortable now to the point where like, I mean, they hate it, they hate the job there, but it's comfortable. We're like, well, I can't leave, and I've been here for so many years and I might as well just stay there, and they're
So fuck
overworking
them.
them.
If they
And
want to do that shit, fuck them.
but I
Who
was
gives a
thinking, yeah, but I was
right?
thinking too is like what it probably boiled down to though was like they were at one point they were like my age, right? Like 21, 24, whatever. And then something in life happened, like they had a kid or whatever, and they needed a job, so they stuck with it. And they couldn't leave right away because they needed a sustained income. And then what happens is they didn't have time to develop their skills. They were stuck there working 50, 45, whatever hours a week, more than full time. And then in between, whenever they had free time, their free time wasn't for bettering themselves. It was to sustain, not to improve, but sustain the lifestyle they had. And that's why they never went nowhere.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like once you got to definitely think. I mean, but a job. I guess a job is a job in the climate, and like if you're there at something like that, that's what you want to do. You can complain all the fuck you want and all
Mm-hmm.
that bullshit, because if you really, I understand you got bills and stuff like that, but there's always. Sorry if I'm bouncing the fucking
Yeah, no,
screen.
yeah, you're good.
There, there's always a fucking way to figure something out. You just have to plan for it. You have to sit down, work with maybe your family. Maybe you might have to make a fucking move to move in, for a while or do.
Oh,
If you want to get the fuck out of there, you will get the fuck out of there. It's a
yeah,
matter of your ambition inside. So they're just saying, I don't want to make the changes and the sacrifices that I'm going to make these changes
mm-hmm.
to do it.
Yeah. Oh no, and I agree with that totally. It definitely is a willpower thing. But I mean, like me myself, I'm saying like I work a lot of hours. So like when I get home, there's times where like I don't. I mean, basically every day usually I feel like just garbage. I mean, I push myself to keep working on stuff like outside of there, but I mean, like I just don't even feel like fucking doing anything. I feel like just staring at a wall. You know. I mean, think about doing the same tedious task all day long. Like that shit's crazy.
I
You
wouldn't
know.
be able to do it.
Yeah.
I would say, fuck you, shoemakers, or whatever the fuck their name
Yeah,
is.
H&H Brown.
But yeah, I get what you're saying, man. You just got to you got to figure out, like how you get the fuck out of there.
Mhm.
And it would be one of those things like you don't fucking tell them. You just say you put in. I don't know if you're on probation or anything like, but if you set up and or maybe it's a day where you say to like multiple people, you set up on that day or whatever, and you say, hey, look, I got to take a personal day or whatever for this or whatever the fuck you tell them, and then you
Yeah.
try to knock all that shit out, and then when
Hey,
they, you know what I mean, you
get that
just
phone
make that
call.
move.
Yeah.
You make that move.
Right. And like I said, is like for me, like I said, it's totally different. But it was something I noticed in a lot of people there. You know, because when we had the meeting, what I noticed all the people said is, how are they gonna fuck us this time? How are they fucking us this time? And it's sad is like they're still there. They know they're getting fucked and they're still there. It's just crazy to me. So I don't know.
Yeah, you got to get around people. Like, what's his name? What's the fucking rich dude's name that owns Virgin?
Virgin?
Branson.
What do you mean Virgin
Virgin.
Mobile?
Branson. What's his first? Richard Branson.
I don't know. That sounds right.
Yeah, he says this, like he does talks to all of his, he goes around motivational speaking and shit, and he says that like I treat my fucking workers good because I know they're gonna bust their ass. I treat them the like best that I can treat them, and still make my companies profitable. But I want them to come in and bust their ass. Now, if I treat them like shit, what are they going to do? They're just going to come in here and just half-ass the job, and my profits are going to go down. Not only that, is like he saying it in a manner of also, I want to see people win. Like I'm training you to be a boss. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
Right.
training you. I'm not training you to stay here and work for me for the rest of their lives. Because there's always a generation where you can get it. If you train people to be bosses and like I always say to people, like when I move into a place,
Mm-hmm.
and if I have to sign a lease or something like that, I always say to that person, like, listen, if I gotta leave, you know what I mean, and breaking this lease so there won't be no problems or no issue. Before I do that, I will try to find somebody to replace me that's gonna, you know what I mean, take care of stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
That's the type of environment you want. You want to be like, okay, this guy's worked for me for 10 years. He's ready to move on. He took training. He's bossed up. Even though he's going to another company, maybe he's got a little cousin that he can bring in and say, hey, I just graduated. Take this job, start here and work your way up. You know what I mean? And you will be treated good. That's the type of company that, you want to have. These guys just sound like you said, yeah, they're fucking slave traders. Like you have to, you know what I mean? Come in here and bust your fucking ass to make our profits good, but we don't give a shit about what you think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and my final thing about it is, and this is something I was thinking. You know, that factories in general, I think, should be filled with more people my age who are just trying to earn income,
Mm-hmm.
so then they can go and build their businesses or build whatever it is they want to do. And that's what I'm saying is like there's so many old people in there, right? I'm the second youngest person in that building right now, right? So that's
Mm.
saying something. And all these other people that are there, why aren't they? That's what I meant by the hours and everything is they didn't garner the time to develop any skills outside of that shoe factory. And I'm just saying in general, not just the shoe factory, but like jobs in general. Like if the 7.25 an hour jobs and stuff should be young people who are then trying to just use that to gain income, so that way then they can build whatever it is they're trying to, whether it's going to college to get an education somewhere, or to not just get an income, but build a business, or a startup, like with mediated media, like we're trying to do. And
Or disenfranchise people. That kind of segues into what I'm saying. But go ahead and finish your thought, because it'll segue right in. You could use disenfranchised people too to fill these spots, and they'll never run out of them. So,
right,
but what were
and
you
that's what I'm
saying?
saying. All I want to say was it's sad is like that there's older people in these entry level jobs, and
Mm-hmm.
the younger people are either not working, or they're getting better jobs than them. And that's what I'm saying is like it's sad to see older people in a regular
True.
society, in a good society, a society that promotes economic growth. The older people should be growing and gaining more in wealth and wealth in general, But no, we have this impoverished, and like I said, the work system's built to keep us impoverished sometimes, from what you can just tell, as I described from what happens here at the factory.
It is built to be. It's built for you to bust your back to make motherfuckers money for them,
Yeah.
not for any future for you. It's designed like that. Any company that doesn't offer you training to move up,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, good training, like pay for your education training, they're not a good. They're not. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care. They don't care what you do. They don't care what you do when you punch that, when you leave that outside that clock. Once you get off the clock, they don't care. So it's just one of those fucking places that people like. And plus, like you said, there's older. When you're saying older, are you saying my age, or are you saying
From
like
like your
60?
your age
Mm-hmm.
up until like literally like almost 70 years old.
Well, the older ones are probably those ones that, oh, I have, you got a job, don't rock the boat, keep going to work, and
Mm.
just this is your life.
Yeah, and
That's that kind of
they
era
didn't
was like that.
know that. But I'm saying in a society that is for like I said, that is pro economic growth.
Mm-hmm.
Your job, no matter what job it is, even if it's entry level, is to promote growth and for you to better yourself, or to be a more productive member of society than just the grunt that will always work this machine until from the time they're 25 till the time that they're 60.
Right. Yeah, it's just one. Yeah, it's one of those things, and I think that's what like the future like. But once you, I think that's what it is now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the people are learning economic growth. Like you're being taught it from, not from the rich people that are running these companies and working off our back and getting all these, making millions and millions of dollars, but you're learning it more from the people, like entrepreneurs, like people that are excuse me, people that are like, for instance, Jay-Z's 444 album. That whole album is about teaching people how to build their own wealth and what to do with their money, and to stop believing, you have to have, back to Jordans, you have to have the latest Jordans. No. If you see a billionaire and look at their outfit,
Yeah, they're not wearing. I mean, well, they might be wearing a nice suit on
or a
occasion.
nice walk, yeah, if they're doing, but if they're casually out, like
It's
just
a, it's a,
going out,
it's a
they're not,
t-shirt and cargo
yeah,
shorts with like some
like a,
Skechers, some
yeah, so
Skechers.
fucking, you look at them, you be like, that dude's no, you know what I mean? But that's how they built their wealth, by not focusing on the dumb shit. You know what I'm saying?
The
So,
appearance. They were
and
focused
that's
more on the actual account. You
and
know.
that's what's dangerous to people like this company right here, like the company you're speaking of. They would hate, they hate somebody, like if you were going around there talking to people like, yeah, it's all about Jay, you got to build your, you got to work on your thing. Them motherfuckers will look at you like you are the devil itself.
Yeah,
Stop putting them ideas in their head. They
especially a place with a union like we have. So you
Right.
could go on strike if need be, like if you feel. But that's the thing is those older. That's why you want to keep those older people there,
Hmm.
because those people they're not gonna be open to those new ideas of you talking about. Well, this is like you said the Jay-Z album and those ideas of building wealth, like generational wealth. They're not open to those ideas. They're so far removed from that it's they're almost numb or ignorant to those ideas.
And how, like, that'll perfectly segue into what I want to talk about today. Like, because finally I have something nice to say about the fucking president. You know, well, I'm sure has an angle for it. I think he's trying to get the black vote, so this is why it's happening because it
Oh
mostly
boy.
affects black people. Um, but they passed the justice system reform bill yesterday. He's in support of it, like everybody is, like most people are. But a company like going this bill is making it's basically giving the judge um, discretion on how to sentence nonviolent pe- people,
Oh.
especially drug offenses. They're focusing on because the jails are filled with petty fucking drug offenses. So what they're saying, like instead of having those guidelines where it says, "Oh, you got caught with simple possession 3 times, you got to do 5 years." The judge has the discretion. They want to go into rehabilitation. They want to work into and rehabilitate. It's called the First Step Act, and I guess they're going to have a second step and all that. But what they want to do also is for what people, the problem with this, people think that when criminals get back out on the street, and they did their time, like everything's perfect. It's the reentry. They want to focus on the reentry in there, and they're going to work with companies. Remember, I told you this a long time
Yeah, when
ago.
we
The
talked about prison
person that
reform.
Yeah, when we talked about prison reform, the companies that get involved with that and just have a section you'll have a revolving door where it says, okay, you don't look for them to be there long term. You look for them to show that they can work. And if you work with specific a company that vents these people, and you just like maybe provide the transportation and you charge it and you pay them less than what just around minimum wage, because they want to get those jobs, and that's what they're focused on, is like, let's give programs to people, because if you come out and you can't get a job, what are you going to do? You're going to go right back
Back
to the
to doing
bullshit you were
drugs.
doing,
Yeah,
and then
or
you're going to go
selling or
and you're
whatever.
going to go and yeah, you're going to do that revolving door and go to the jail. So he's in supply, and this is affecting like a community of like, there's per capita, there's more minorities in prison than there is non-minority. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
right.
White
Oh,
people, basically.
definitely.
So it's one of those things. What is he doing it for the vote? You know what I'm saying? Is he doing it? What is he doing this for?
Um, I
Or are
would.
they going to put their money into like maybe these factories are going to be like, maybe the business world is saying, hey, we can get cheaper labor.
And that was one of the things I was gonna say, but
Mm-hmm,
also I guarantee it has a lot to do with the marijuana industry complex that's about to it's basically gonna be an industrial production complex of us mass producing marijuana, and
mm-hmm.
and what I'm thinking of is if you want people to be your clients, your customers, you want to let them out of jail so they can do that, or if they cease to smoke, or uh if they used to smoke, or if anybody is smoking marijuana. And of course you want to try and create programs and stuff too to rehabilitate them into society.
Right.
But I was saying though, like that was just the first thing that popped into my head, was that because I know Trump's also trying to, like, he's probably gonna be the president to legalize marijuana, like,
Mm-hmm.
nationally, which is gonna be which I hope no one remembers him just for that. I hope, like, after his presidency's done, everybody remembers all the bullshit that he did. Like I mean, because presidents do bullshit, but I mean, like, Trump's done some really and said some really fucked up shit. So I really hope people just don't remember him afterward. Like, hey, he's the guy that made weed all right.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's not going to win off. He's not going to win off that. No, there's no way. People are going to just be like, thanks,
Yeah, thanks.
because you've done and disrespected so many cultures they're just going to be like, yeah, good job, fuckface. Now get out of here, because there's no recovering, bro. It, when people around you that help you get there, and it was like, yeah, yeah, when you guys won, all of them are just separating themselves from them because they know this fuck's going down. They
Yeah.
know he's doing whatever he can. And I think this is one of the things to be like, oh, pat him on the back. Oh, he's not such a bad guy. He's trying to rebrand the image because they're coming after him and there's no way he can stop it. And he knows it. So
Yeah.
he's going to either one, self destruct and do some fucked up shit, or two, he's going to try to ease back, rebrand himself, and go to the people that he could get the majority of vote next time with
Yeah.
and win instead of going to the ignorant fucks this time. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
He's going to try to do that's his only way to do it. So he's going to do things like that. But I mean, like I said, I'm an objective dickhead. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm going to point out if you do something good, I'm going to say, okay, that's something that I can get on board with, but it's still the fuck don't cancel out all the bullshit you
Yeah.
did.
Oh no, definitely not. Yeah, and another thing too that I you said that point you made about maybe they're trying to get that cheap labor, and that's what the manufacturing's trying to do is up the production.
And it sounds like one of the things that you work, that company like that, they need workers. They should probably get with some of these halfway houses and say, hey, we're going to send a bus. Every day a bus is going to come here. You vent out some workers for us that want to work, and that'll be their own personal job, like a halfway houses for people that get, because the people that go to rehab and get in these halfway houses they struggle to find work too. Most of them got criminal records. You just make a program for that, and then you will have workers every day there. They'll be there. You'll never have to worry about a spot not being filled.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And they, like I said, they need that job too, especially if they're just coming back out in the world with nothing. You know what I mean? Because they've been in prison, they haven't had the opportunity to gain anything. So there are people that need that job, especially to help build a resume. So what are they going to do? Especially if they're getting worked 55 hours a week. Well, they can't just up and quit because they might not get another job.
right. Yeah. And you can't and plus you're in a structured environment. So you're not going to get no call unless the person just totally, but the thing about that is you're going to get people. It's not a successful thing. Like rehab, we're just focusing strictly on, drug addicts. Rehab. It's not a successful thing. You know what I mean? People only 1% of people are going to stay clean. And they tell you that's the statistic. So what it is, but it's a door okay, this guy might work for a month, but that's why you make it a short program. Yeah. Okay, you're here for 3 months. You're going to get in the working groove, and then make that one day. You take that one day and say, okay, even if you get out of here before, you know what I mean? We're going to give you Fridays for you to go out and find another job because this is not a long-term thing. Go, like you were discussing, you can't get that thing. You give them that day, and then you bring the next person and say, you give them that day. Give them that day to go out and better themselves, to go look for more employment. Yeah. Then you bring the next person up to fill in that day and say, hey, you're only going to get a week here, and it's closer to that time. And then a month from now, you're going to be in there unless you find a job outside of that. It's just one of those things because all of them are on 30-day blackouts before they can go outside. So you got to just work with these companies, and it'll solve a huge problem.
Yeah, but I was saying too was because privatized prisons, we talked about that. That's a big problem, and they're basically prisons ran as businesses. But now you're thinking about it. Now these prisons that are businesses are now creating a business of employing other factories.
Prisoners.
Yeah.
Prisoners.
So basically, they now have created they're actually making a product. They have a product which is they're turning out cheap labor.
Right. They're
which is
turning
crazy.
out cheap. Yeah, and I don't see nothing wrong with it because if you're fucked up, you shouldn't be able to just go in and say, I need equal rights. I should be getting as much. No, you fucked up. You know what I'm saying? You got to come out and you got to make that grind. But we shouldn't if we were so concerned about crime going down, we would put the energy in saying, okay, we're gonna put people in these positions to say, okay, if we're gonna give you a huge tax break, we need you to run one of these programs. One of your factories around here, big industries, you got to hire people and you're going to get cheaper American labor. You know what I'm saying? And you're just gonna have to do this to get these tax breaks. And then crime will go down if a person could come out of jail knowing, okay, I'm going to this halfway house and they have a program that is I'm going to get a shot to get
Hey, hold on.
myself back they know it already instead of getting threatened and you know what I'm saying. So just eliminate, I think they're finally realizing, okay, the industry already, the privatized, like you just mentioned, is already milked it dry. Now people are knowing, this is not good. We're going to change it. And now we're going to put it into programs until they milk that dry.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what it is. So I
Yeah.
just, I thought it was pretty interesting that he was like all vocal and
Yeah,
on
well, you
board
know
about
what? I'm glad that you picked up the story that wasn't the story about the whole GoFundMe bullshit and everything. I'm glad that you pulled up that story rather than talking about that, because a lot of people aren't. Everyone's overlooking what you just said, which is a positive thing. It's a kind of positive thing because it's positive for them, like for prisoners to get back into society and be able to
Mm-hmm.
function. But it's also like one of those things where like I see why they're doing it. They could who's making a benefit from it, who's benefiting off of their misfortunes or their fuck ups.
Yeah, like I always say, would you rather be, if you're getting fucked, would you rather be fucked with a condom on and lubricant or dry fucked?
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Which one do you want? You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
but at
So
the
I
same
would
time, for
rather have,
prisoners, when you think about it from prisoner perspective, though, they already bent over. They
yeah.
already bent over, and then they were asked the question, like they bent over, and then they were like, "All right, which way do you want it?"
which way would you rather? And that's just like
You're asking for
what
it.
it all is. I would rather it be that, and then getting dry fucked by just saying you're going to jail for the rest of you for a nonviolent crime. You're getting 30 years for a nonviolent crime. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense. So it's one of those things. So yeah, I just picked up and now to me, I seen the story you were talking about too. I just found that funny. Like they want to raise $1 billion, but it's funny, bro.
It's
It's
funny. It's
funny that they started a GoFundMe to build the fucking wall.
Oh, it's fun. But the reason why it's funny is because of the irony of it. Because Donald Trump, his election year, the year of the election, says we're gonna have Mexico pay for it, and
Mm-hmm.
then the year after he says Mexico will pay us back for it,
It's back.
and then this year he's like, well, no, not even our own government's giving me the money for it, nor
Shut down
Mexico.
our government.
So yeah, shut down the government, and he's like asking everybody else pay for it. He's asking the American people to pay for it, and it's funny as these dumb people that bought into his idea that Mexico was gonna pay for it are now like, all right, we'll pay for it. Fuck it. Like you're idiots. Like you.
They're so consumed on a fucking wall
Mm-hmm.
that they're paying. Either way, you're paying for it.
Yeah, and well, to me, you're raising money to fix a problem that's a non-issue. Like it's not
Right.
the biggest pressing issue.
It's not a fucking issue. They're using that as a tactic to get these people to vote because it's just one of those things. Like most of the majority, if it should be a catch and release. Like
Yeah, really.
there's certain places you could fucking fish, but you got to release those fish.
Yeah,
Catch them, then you got to let them go.
and
But you catch them, send them back. If they're illegal, just send them the fuck back. It's that simple.
yeah,
And if
but
you got to play that game, what else are you gonna do?
they're also claiming like other things, like that the Mexicans are bringing the drugs over, like the whole. They're saying an opioid epidemic. Heroin. Like they're saying all that is because of Mexicans.
Most
And
of the
like,
drugs come from like now is coming like it's not just they're using a port for that, but
mm,
it's more of the shit is being shipped over like through black markets in China and shit, like all
yeah,
this fentanyl and shit like that.
yeah. Well, I'm saying that even if so, I mean, we know people have their hands in all these different pies. I mean, you think it's not hard to pay off the guy who's patrolling your section of wall, $50,000 to just say, hey, look the other way. We're gonna go ahead and take this
Bringing
kilo
this
over.
shit through. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've found it. They've done research on the border patrol and stuff. This is even without the wall. I mean, think about it. Border patrol operatives that are like patrolling the border, they're so far and few between, and they're bored out of their mind. Sometimes they don't have social contact for days when they're
Right.
out there. So you got to think about it. I mean, when they see somebody that's coming across the border, I mean, and they're all alone. No one's gonna ever know that they were paid off or not. I mean, you're easily corruptible at that point. You're
Yeah,
easily corrupt.
you're not going to stop that problem from happening. Like I
Yeah.
said, they talk to many Mexican people that just laugh at that shit. Say that we come across the border, we're not fucking walking up. They think that though the people that are actually caravanning through, sure, there's going to be some people that are disguise themselves, but it's very few. If they're coming in here on some criminal shit, they're not coming walking and trying to climb a fucking fence.
Yeah.
Trust that.
They got a plan. They got a way in. They've already made arrangements, guaranteed. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like whenever you travel to any country or anywhere else. I mean, whenever you go to like whenever I go to your house, do I tell you that I'm on my way?
Right. Right.
So like
Yeah.
you gotta think the Mexican people, if they're bringing drugs over, you know what I mean, they're already talking to the person that they're gonna bring them to over in America. They're like, yeah, I'm coming over, so they know they're on your way and they have something set up on how to get there. I
And
mean,
usually when they catch something, maybe at the border, or they get one of these big drugs that you might see bust, it's because they catch the fucker that they're bringing it to, and he sets them up. The people that are bringing it,
oh yes, yes, very true, very
they
true.
catch them doing some dumb shit, and they got to wiggle out so they can say, "Well, I got these mules that are about to bring 800 kilos over on this date over here. Can I get out of this kilo that you got me on? Yeah, sure. We're going to get that 800." You know what I'm saying? By the time it gets down to when they take it, it's now all of a sudden 100 because they're splitting that shit. It's a crooked game, bro. There's too much money involved in that shit.
Yeah,
And
agreed.
then another thing that was said, I'm sorry, real quick about that right there. Cruz, Senator Cruz, Senator Cruz,
Ted
Ted
Cruz.
Cruz, he suggested, which I think is a fucking smart. If you're gonna do anything, I just don't see the sense on building a fucking wall. But he's like, hey, we seized $14 billion from Chapo. Use
Yeah,
that money.
yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, you could do that. If you're building the wall, sure. But
But I would also, those people that are coming over to seek asylum, that would be a requirement. You got to
yeah,
help. You're going to make some money, pay some taxes, and you're going to work on this wall.
yeah.
That's what I do. You solve so many problems in one fucking stone. You know what I mean? If you want to do it, but stop fucking making this shit crazy. You know?
Yeah, stop making it such a. I said to me though, it's an issue. It's a non-issue. It's an issue that's not big enough to warrant a $5 billion payout for a wall. I mean, that's just my position on it. And
No.
and this is the last thing I want to end on here before we go into outro. But there's things like I said, we paid we had the Iran deal and we covered that. We paid them 150 billion, which is like a massive amount of money times what we did for the wall, what would cost to build the wall. But the difference is we tried to stop them from going further with their nuclear plan and slow them down so we got a long-term deal because Iran is a radicalized area where and that's potentially the death of millions of people, in that area, destabilized.
It'd be
And if
it'd be easy to stop them from that's all that shit is bullshit to
Yeah,
me.
but
It's just
I'm saying that that's why you can have your opinion on that. But I'm saying that I would see that more as something that's an issue because that's the potential of people like dying than the issue of like, oh no, people might come over here and which again it wouldn't even fix the problem anyway. But oh no, they might come over here and take some jobs or bring some drugs, which is what they've been doing, regardless if you have a wall there or not, and will continue to happen. So I just think
yeah,
it's
it'll
an issue,
continue to
non-issue.
happen. I just see it as two different like fucking scenarios. Like, I mean, fucking go like if really all they would do is like they did to fucking Saddam Hussein because it's the same country, same pretty much. Iraq and Iran is pretty much the same as an ability. We could go over there and wipe that shit out anytime we want to. If we think they got it and spend less money than just paying. They were trying to make a peaceful way of doing it, but it is what it is. More bullshit, more politics. So I don't see those things as too the same, nowhere near the same. Because, like you said, people like if they did have something like that and they just decided to use it, yeah, could be
people
it
people could
could fuck some
die.
people
That's
up.
what I'm saying. Like, and that's how I had to see it. And it was a cheaper option definitely than war because Iraq actually cost us 1 trillion.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying is like think about it like that, like 150 billion to compared to like 1-2 trillion dollars. I mean that's a cakewalk.
I wanted to jump into something real quick that I find very fucking important. It's a quick sports thing because it's my fucking like what I do. Go to my listeners out there. I got my little vlog that goes on and shit for Coach B. Go check that out. And just if you're into sports, check out the vlog. There was two interesting things that I came across that I want to just touch on real quick. Is as of today, like they indefinitely suspended Josh Gordon. He failed his drug test. He tried to come out this morning and say that he was stepping away from the Patriots, but he knew he had took a drug test and he failed it. So they indefinitely suspend him. That's a tough fucking scenario for the kid because he's been struggling. And I don't know what they should do about that NFL wise, but I think they should try to give him some help instead of, they should get behind him, give him some help and just don't throw him out in the streets. I think that's very important. And another thing is like Eric Reed for the Carolina Panthers. He's got 7 drugs. He's only been with the Panthers for 12 weeks and he got 7 random drug tests. And it's just not possible. He's not he never had a dirty urine. He shouldn't be getting that many. And they're saying it's random, but he's in the collusion case with Cap. So they're just these dummies are just proving the case for Eric Reed and Cap to win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, they are harassing them. They definitely are.
They're harassing them because you can't, none of that shit's random.
But I will, good.
No, that's it. That's all. I just wanted.
But actually, just to circle back to the whole Josh Gordon thing, I'm not surprised whatsoever. And you said that they needed to create programs and opportunities for him, but I got to tell you something. Josh Gordon got so many opportunities, many because of the potential of talent he had. He got more opportunities than Martavis Bryant and a lot of other people that have effed up in the NFL that never get a chance to come back in the league. I mean, Martavis got caught on 3 different drug tests or whatever. And, it was for, like, I believe marijuana or whatever, and then that was it for him.
That's just stupid. Like, it can't be just marijuana. You can't tell me that every NFL player, basketball player, NFL players, they tell you, I've never seen a weed head, you know what I'm saying? Just smoking weed, like if they're on probation and they know that they're going back to jail, they can stop smoking weed. It's not that real. You know what I'm saying? He's losing millions of dollars.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Martavis is just an idiot. And that's what I'm saying is, but like Josh had such potential, and I know it's not just weed; it's other addictions.
Yeah, he has alcohol and cocaine addiction, all kinds of shit.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's just so sad, is that he has so many opportunities, and then they've all been squandered, every single one of them. And he was a guy
he's been kicked out of middle school. Expelled from middle school, high schools, kicked out of college in Baylor. He's had way more opportunities than he can see. I don't feel sorry for the kid.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, like NFL wise, they should not put him through the mud and just throw him out to the fucking wolves. I think that should be part of if you're getting suspended or whatever, there should be some kind of program. If they're going to kick him out of the league, I totally understand it. He had too many chances. Go ahead. You got to go. And if you need help, this is what we can offer you, because they make so much fucking money that some treatment is not going to hurt their pocket.
Sure. Helping out after helping after you're gone. I mean, once they kick you out and say, well, you're not playing anymore because you've screwed up so many times, but we'll help you because you were part of our league at one point, like the Players Association. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying you messed up so many times. And now that you brought up the high school and the middle schools and all that, I mean, the guy just has a history of messing up, and he's just a guy that I hate to say he's a lost cause, but he's a lost cause. I mean, the guy has a history and never changed it, never turned it around.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, but they have
he still could, and he still could turn around. But I'm saying, like, after that so many times, I mean, like, for an investment for other NFL teams, because NFL teams are a business, like, how many times are we going to pay this guy to get suspended again for messing up, for not following the policies the league sets up?
Those things, he's I think his contract, if you get suspended like that for that, I think your contract's automatically suspended, and they don't have to pay him shit that he'd be owed. So he's just only really fucking himself. I mean, the investment, the Patriots, I mean, they're probably
but I'm saying, fuck. Like, you train a player, right? I mean, that's you still paying him the games that he does play, and then the cost to put him in your system, and then train him, and then there's other players that you could have on the roster, right?
That's your fucking choice. You knew it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this history. I don't feel
Right.
sorry for them rich fucks.
Oh yeah, I don't feel
You know
sorry
what I
for the
mean?
Patriots either. And the Patriots just
Browns,
have a
any
history. The Patriots have a history of grabbing those kind of players and
bad,
using them
bad
for.
players. Well, the main thing that I'm concerned about though is it's not really the drugs or him fucking up, but is this you have to be fucking mental and have mental issues that are either not being treated or the man's not. I'm not saying it's anybody's responsibility, but whether mostly it should be his family that should be making sure he's being treated properly because you got to be fucking mentally ill to continuously doing that because most drug addicts are they have some mental issues. It's not the drugs. They're trying to hide something that they're not wanting to face and not wanting to deal with, and that shit can eat a person alive to do self-medication. So to me it looks like he has some mental fucking issues that he needs to address. You know what I'm saying? Not Kanye West mental institution.
Yeah, oh yeah,
I mean, but crazy. Like he really has some demons that he has to deal with. So I just wanted to touch on that because I found it, like you said, fucked up that this kid he has the major fucking talent. Major fucking talent. There's the only problem. I haven't seen like he's a big time receiver if he could got his shit together. And I just hate to see somebody like that get fucked up. But it's happened time and time again. There's stories of that we probably don't even know about great athletes that didn't even get that far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the tragedy of it. So, but hey, what would you guys think about Josh Gordon? Josh Gordon.
You can't talk today,
Josh Gordon. It's all that monotony. From
monotony. Yeah.
So you just have like a one track mind.
You got dumb.
I guarantee there's probably research that says it. Those kind of things make you stupid. Stupider.
Right. Yeah, repetitive shit. You forget how to fucking talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But but like I said, let us know in the comment section below what do you think about any of the things we've talked about today. As always, if you're on our YouTube right about now, you could go ahead and see that little bell down there, and also if you haven't already subscribed, get notified, and then that way every time we upload, you'll be able to get notified that we're showing. And also, check us out on Facebook, Bridging the Gap. We also have a little thing up the top there in a box. You can click that and follow our Facebook page whenever we're posting. And we should be up here on Spotify. And I was going to say iTunes, but iTunes is still being weird. I don't know what iTunes' problem is, but you know what? I guess I'm just going to have to say fuck Apple people for right now. So, yeah. Eat a bag of dicks, Apple people.
You better bleep that out, motherfucker. We might need Apple later.
Hey, if they could get their damn podcast thing to work, maybe I wouldn't be so frustrated.
No.
And like I said, leave a like on this video and again leave a comment. What is that?
No, my ringer went off. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. But as always, Dev, Coach, out of here. Take care of yourselves. See ya.
Bah.